Hey guys, welcome back to another Aspects Showcase video. Today we have a slightly shorter one because it's only a minor aspects update this time, but that fits because Minecraft is releasing a minor update very soon, and this update is going to include the new wolf variants and the armadillos, so Aspects needs an update to match because if you don't update, then you won't be able to see the new wolves at all. They'll all look like the original wolf, and that's not ideal, so please download this update as soon as it's available. It only works on 1.20.80 or above, but I wanted to highlight the features because it's not just wolves and armadillos today. It's a lot of stuff relating to 1.21 as well, but the wolves are the main attraction, of course, so let's go over what I've added for them. Obviously, full support for wolf armor and the new wolf variants has been added, but that's only the tip of the iceberg, because let's get a few of these guys with us here. Maybe not Mr. Armor, but whatever, and take them on a swim, because in Java Edition, when wolves get wet, look at that, they get a little bit, almost imperceptibly darker, and when they get out of the water, they'll shake off this wetness and get lighter again. It's kind of hard to tell, but believe me, it is working. I had to test it. It was actually a lot darker originally, and then Java Edition changed it in the pre-release for this update, so I had to go back and change it right before the update was finished. There are still two more features to show though, and these ones are pretty minor. First off, the sitting wolf legs have now been moved to actually contact the ground, or at least as much as Java Edition touches the ground. You can see they're still floating a little bit, instead of being floating way up high in the air. And when you're holding foods to tempt a dog, its head now transitions smoothly back instead of snapping into position, which was really odd. So, with that, we have gone over the reason that this update for Java and console aspects is called the Wolf Update, and believe it or not, all of these features except the wolf legs are also in console aspects. Moving on, let's start the 1.21 train, and once again, all these features apply to console aspects if they make sense, so you won't be stuck with just outdated stuff for no reason. First off, player heads on Java use the new Steve texture, but on Bedrock they didn't update it for some reason. So now I made sure to update it in Java aspects. You get the brilliant, smiling Steve. It's supposed to be a beard. He's definitely smiling. Also, he's holding our little trial chambers map here, which is using the nice texture from Java Edition instead of the really weird 2 lines texture from Bedrock. All of the trial spawners and vaults now have shading and look like Java Edition. It's kind of hard to tell at day, so let's set it to night. Now you can see that the sides of the spawners are not fully bright like the top at all times. The vaults are also, but it's not quite as easy to get the vaults looking perfect due to technical resource pack reasons, so I did my best, and they're certainly much closer than they are by default. The Bogged is also coming in this update. I forgot what I named this guy. And this guy is getting full item poses just like every other mob in the game, so now when it holds anything, it will look just like Java Edition, including not putting its arm forward, because if you look at mobs in vanilla Bedrock, their arms are kind of forward like when I hold an item, and skeletons don't do that on Java or Legacy, so I removed it. Here's a fun one. The durability bars have been a feature of Java Aspects Fidelity for a long time, and as you can see here, I'm definitely using the Java Aspects Fidelity durability bars, right? Wrong. These are now available in Java Aspects Performance as well, because Mojang went and updated the durability bar colors secretly in 1.20.80. So I could revert to the default system. I still had to clean up the position of the durability bar, but it now looks great in all locations. It just doesn't appear in the hotbar in Creative anymore, but that's a small price to pay for much better menu performance. The heavy core icon has also gotten its Java Edition icon in this update for both Java and console aspects, because console edition didn't really use the weird glitchy icons from Bedrock either, like the conduit. And while we're on the topic of the mace item position from Java Edition has been added too, so unlike swords, it looks similar, right? But the mace is actually slightly bigger. It's very hard to tell the difference, but believe me, it is there, and it did require me to do a bunch more work. And the last feature before we switch over to console aspects is some sound stuff. These two sounds have been something I've wanted to add to the pack forever. Let's take a listen. Beautiful. The Eye of Ender sounds from Java Edition and Legacy have now been added to Bedrock because I finally figured out a really janky way to do it. And similarly, in figuring out janky ways to add features that people have requested for a long time, when you hit a mob normally, it sounds like this. When you hit a mob critically, it now sounds like this. Look at that, and that's a feature from a contributor, because I never would have figured out the solution that they used to add this feature, so I am very glad to tell you critical hit sounds are now a feature in Aspects. And it's time to transition into Console Edition. It's always interesting the first few minutes after you turn on console aspects because you realize just how much paler the game looks with it enabled, but you really get used to it quick. So in this update, I have received files from the same contributor who figured out critical hit sounds, and this contributor did an amazing thing. They fixed the first-person attack animations for real this time. We've finally fixed first-person Bedrock Edition animations after years of them being broken. Minecraft 1.21 will be introducing 4 new potion effects, and each of these comes with a new potion. So, naturally I had to add textures to console aspects that correspond with the default textures and the programmer art textures, aka classic textures, to make them match the other textures in the game. So now nothing looks out of place. Also, the splash potions in the previous version weren't showing the right texture, and in fact they aren't even showing the right texture in vanilla Bedrock because the developers haven't updated the potion entity files yet. So I just went and did it myself. 3 new blocks have been added since the last Aspects update, which have unique sounds: the heavy core, the vault, and the cobweb. Take a listen. Unfortunately, to show the cobweb I would have to go into updated textures, and we're in default textures right now, so I could show the potions, so for now you're going to have to trust me on the cobweb. But in both Java and console aspects, these sounds no longer vary, and they're now the right pitch compared to other blocks. One of my favorite little fun facts about husks in Minecraft is that they're slightly taller than zombies. You never really notice it unless they're next to each other, but here you can see the husk is definitely taller. Except that's what I thought was true, but it turns out that was only true on Java and Console Edition. On Bedrock, they were exactly the same size as normal zombies. So here I've gone and fixed it. And it turns out, on Legacy Console Edition, drowned are also bigger like husks. So, drowned and husks are now taller than zombies in console aspects. Hello, Mr. Frog. Do you want to join me in the showcase? Sure, okay, stick around. So these are bamboo leaves, and they might look absolutely normal, and most people would say they don't look any different than normal, but they now look slightly darker in Console Edition, because in Console, they don't use their full brightness, which was a bug when they were introduced in Bedrock originally. Kind of like seagrass, but a lot less dramatic. And, excuse me for 1 second here. There we are. Now, baby mobs like camels, sniffers, and armadillos now use the correct pitch of sounds when they're doing stuff. Let's see if we can get this sniffer to sniff around a little bit. Now let's compare that to an adult sniffer. There we go. The baby is now slightly higher pitched than the adult, and that's also true for the armadillo rolling up sounds. Just slightly different. And then when the baby camel stands up or sits, it also sounds a little different, which is the hardest one to show, so we're not going to bother, but you're going to have to trust me. 1.21 is revamping the Bad Omen effect to be a lot more general, so it's not just about raids anymore, and the raid one is called Raid Omen. So what I've done in console aspects is replaced the Raid Omen icon with the old Bad Omen icon, because the default Bad Omen effect doesn't really fit the Illager icon anymore. And with that, we conclude our showcase on the Wolf update for Aspects. It's not a huge one, but it contains a few things I've wanted to get in for a long time. Critical hit sounds, finally finished first-person animations, and a ton of 1.21 support. So, Thank you for watching. Go download the packs in the description when they are available. I finally figured out that CurseForge doesn't actually allow you to download things on mobile devices. Why would they do that? They know it's a site for Minecraft Bedrock, right? So the links in the description will now be MCP EDL, so you can actually download them instead of just staring at the pack hoping that you can download it someday. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you later.